Namaste everybody, and welcome along to today's meditation and mindfulness class. Today we're going to be looking at stress, and we're going to be looking at what stress looks like, how it can turn into a vicious cycle, and how it can manifest in the body and in the mind. And also we're going to go through some techniques which are very useful to counteracting that cycle and breaking that cycle of stress. If you've never met me before in past trimesters, my name is Jesse and I'm one of the teachers at Griffith Yoga Lifestyle Club in Nathan, and it's wonderful to meet you all. So I'll just really briefly talk about myself. As I said, my name is Jesse. My professional background is in pathology, specifically microbiology. So I've done a lot of study into pathological diseases, more on the base level, not into anything super deep. But you start to notice trends in blood work, and you start to notice trends on a tangible physical scale when you look at things under the microscope, or you look at numbers or counts in the blood. And there are a lot of studies there that show stress can affect these things. I've also for the last 6 years or so, been a massage therapist, remedial massage therapist. And countless times, I've treated hundreds of people who have all kind of complained about the same thing. They're stressed at work, they're stressed at home, they have single mothers with 3 kids. You get a father who works full time and doesn't get to spend time with their kids. There's so many things that a person can go through in their day, their week, their month, their life, which is going to cause them stress. So what is stress? Stress, if we want to think about it in a very simple term, is something that makes us agitated, that is the opposite of calm. Stress is the opposite of calm. When we're calm, our intelligence is clear. When we're calm, we can make decisions without being affected by extreme emotional chasms. And when we're calm, we feel a lot more peaceful in both our body and our mind. So drawing from the knowledge that I've gained over the last number of years working on people's bodies, when someone is stressed, it manifests in a very, very noticeable way. So when we get stressed, we tend to become less mindful of what our body is doing at any point in time. You also can you lose track of your thought process. So we become far more reactive when we're stressed. And when we're stressed, we're in a heightened state of emotional distress or emotional activity, especially in the negative. A wise man once said we shouldn't make any decision when our senses are in a heightened state, and that could be for negative. So when we're angry, when we're stressed, I'm going to say that word a lot through this class, I apologize. When we're angry, when we're stressed, when we're sad, when we're depressed. And we can also make very bad decisions if we're in a heightened state of ecstasy, or we feel like we're gushing with affection, and we're in a heightened state of what we feel is happiness or delight or pleasure, because then we, again, on both ends of the spectrum, we lose our intelligence somewhere along the way. Not only that, but we become less mindful of where we are in the present. The present almost doesn't exist except what our expectations are and what our past has done. So these are the places we tend to go to. And we can get very trapped by stress, especially if it's a consistent thing in our day. So again, going back to the physical manifestation of stress, when people become stressed, it's an inbuilt neural reaction that the body is quite an intelligent piece of machinery. The body wants to get as much oxygen into the body quickly, and this comes from the inbuilt fight or flight response. When we're stressed, we start to slowly delve into that realm of fight or flight, and that is a neurological, almost automatic system that goes into place, and it's a self-preservation. So we start to even subconsciously, completely unconscious of what's happening, we start to breathe very shallow, very sharp breaths. And this is not good for oxygenating the body, for the neurological system to remain on that nice medium. We need to make sure that we are oxygenating the body, and the best way to do this is to slow, effortless, deep breaths. When we're stressed, it's the opposite. It's all chest. And when we do this, the musculature in our neck, around our shoulders becomes tight. That tightness can lead to referral pains in the form of migraines, in the form of numbness, tingling in the hands, our chest pain. When we're stressed, our heart rate increases because the fight or flight response, it wants us to either react violently or retreat as quickly as we can. So the body has to, the heart has to start pumping blood through the body so that we have that short release adrenaline that we can run or that we can fight. And this is not a good way to be each and every day, because it has very, very nasty side effects on our adrenal systems, on our mental state. Definitely, we become, the body and the mind can become very can adapt. It adapts very, very well. So when we become stressed on a constant rate, we think that this is the normal, when it's not. The normal function of a person and normal state of a person is actually quite peaceful. When we look at yoga wisdom and yoga knowledge, it says we naturally are actually very peaceful and very joyful beings. And this should be our natural state. But we have to engage in things sometimes that make us far less content and joyful. And this is why we have such yoga techniques that we can draw from that will allow us to bring ourselves back to that natural state. So, and just briefly touching on the cycle. So the cycle starts with you feeling stressed. There's a physical manifestation, right? The body doesn't get oxygenated. Our muscles seize up slightly. We become constipated, and all sorts of other stuff can happen. That leads to more discomfort, which leads to more stress because we don't like being in pain. So how do we break that cycle? Well, we need to not just inject, but carve out just a few moments. A few moments, is all it can take to reverse that cycle, that physical cycle of fight or flight. So this topic being stress detox techniques. Detox meaning it's a bit of a process, because detoxes, you do get really, really quick detoxes, but those aren't the things that last. A proper detox is something that you do over a period of time. But again, the techniques that I'll go through you very briefly with are techniques you can do anywhere. Wherever you can draw breath, you can do meditative breathing. Wherever you are able to catch yourself, instead of being reactive, you be reflective. So instead of reacting in a way that you know is not good for you, you instead stop, take a step back, you put your hands on your stomach, and you just start to breathe. Just become aware of your breath. How many times do we breathe in a day? How many of those breaths are actually nourishing the body? Your hands on your stomach, just around where the belly button area sits. Feel free to do this at home if you're watching. Just around where the belly button sits, you place both hands. You can do this sitting, standing, lying down, handstand, whatever you need to do. You just become aware of the speed of your breath. If you find that you're getting toward that more hyperventilating speed of breath, then purposefully slow it down. And in order to slow it down, we draw breath in nice and slow. What we do is when we breathe in as well, we gently push the stomach out as we're breathing in. And when we're ready to breathe out, We gently draw the belly button back toward the spine. So nice, slow, but you want to deepen that breath. Pushing that breath gently into the very bottom of the lungs. That's where we don't put our air. We breathe so shallow that we neglect the lower third of our lungs. So two things I want you to take away from this is be mindful of how you're feeling and know what the markers are. If you were to stop and take a step back and just think for a couple of minutes, what are the things that I encounter in my day that make me feel stressed, that trigger that stress response? It's in those moments that you find yourself being triggered that you can make a conscious choice. This is the wonderful thing about stress, is it's a conscious thing that we can actually control, and we can make the decision to not get caught up in that automatic cycle. Okay, so that's one thing I want you to do, is to be mindful of how you're feeling at a certain point, especially when you're triggered. The second thing is to just engage in that very easy exercise of abdominal breathing. 10 breaths. That'll take you roughly a minute and a half. If you can spare 80% of your day stressing, you can spare a minute and a half of your day just breathing, being conscious in your breath. I hope this has helped. Tune in next week on Monday, and I'll be doing a self-massage workshop. It'll be only very quick. It'll be 10 to 15 minutes. Especially important for those who are sitting in front of a computer, typing. I encounter that every day. Or not every day, but as a therapist, I encounter that a lot. It's 95% of the people I see. So I'll take you through some very useful techniques, a couple of stretches to just help with that aspect of your student life, okay? I hope this has been informative, and I hope that easy exercise of abdominal breath helps you. It's helped me on numerous occasions. You can use it whenever you need to, even when you're happy. Breathe, okay? That's all from me, and I'll see you very, very soon. Have a wonderful week, and namaste.